Who was your very first celebrity crush?
Aaron Carter.
Aaron's party.
Honestly, like now that we've brought that up, I would say like, oh my God, I was just about to say a name, but now I'm like friends with that person. I'm like, I can't say
it. Hey friends, it's your girl Emily Curl back at iHeartRadio, and today we're joined by Charlotte Sands. Let's give it up!
Wow, I feel so special.
Don't you love the cheering squad?
Yeah, that actually felt really good. I like that.
I feel special because I am so loving doing in-person interviews, way more than Zoom, so it's so good to have you here.
Thank you.
How has everything been? How's it all going?
It's crazy. I'm having the best time of my life. I'm genuinely doing everything that I love all the time, so I cannot complain. It is a good life. I'm thriving.
That's a good description. We'll take that. We're so happy to have you here today. We're going to be playing 15 First, and so we have different first-time scenarios that I'm going to give you, and I want you to just tell me the first thing that comes to mind, the story of a 15 First.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm
okay,
terrified.
Charlotte. Question 1. When was the first time that you realized you could sing?
Doesn't mean I was good, but I remember being in a play when I was probably about 6 or 7 years old, and I was singing and I had a solo and I just enjoyed it. But I remember the choir director told me that I was sharp, and she like went and hit a piano key and was like, "You're a little sharp," and I was like, and I looked at her and I said, "No, I'm not." I watched the videos and I absolutely was. It was further than sharp. It was a completely different key. But I was young. I'll give myself some grace. But yeah, that was the first time that I was like, I'm a singer. You know, you gotta be confident.
You gotta believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, question 2. Oh, this might answer it. What was your very first performance? And maybe like think when you're like little and you perform for your parents or your friends would come over. What was like that first like karaoke machine performance?
Honestly, you just said karaoke machine. That's so crazy because you just unlocked a core memory for me. I had a karaoke machine and I would sing Aaron Carter a lot.
Oh yes. Yeah. What song? Is there one in particular?
Candy. I Want Candy.
Fire.
And Aaron's Party. Come and Get It, of course. But yeah, that was definitely when I would do like my own, and I'd be like, guys, this is my performance. Please excuse yourselves. My family, luckily I grew up in a really musical family, and in the sense my dad always was playing guitar if he was at home, and everyone was always kind of joining in some sense. So I think like from birth, I literally was like somehow trying to be a part of that and singing and doing whatever I could to smash my hands on the pianos and all that kind of stuff. So
can we get an Aaron's Party cover? I would love to hear that now.
Come on, I like that little foreshadowing. I'm going to play that later.
I love it. Okay, question 3. What was your very first job?
I had like 5 jobs at the same time. I got my first job when I was like 14 years old. I really wanted to be financially independent. It was a big thing for me back then. I was like, I want to buy pizza for all my friends. I want to buy them sodas. I was like, I'm going to be the cool kid that way. It's like buying people's love. But I got a job at like a plant nursery. I was like a cashier. That was like one of my first jobs. And at the same time, I worked at a pizzeria in my small town as a cashier, like working the front desk thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it was just so fun to be out of the house at such a young age that I was like, oh, if I have somewhere to go, I can like have my own life and kind of be like, I won't be around my parents. And that was like my way of being independent.
You felt cool.
Working like a 9-hour job every day as a 14-year-old. It seems very fun.
Okay, what about question 4? What was the first song that sparked your emo phase?
Honestly, I would say like We the Kings, Check Yes Juliet. We were literally singing it earlier.
Oh, that's a good one.
Those songs, like, I mean, even like Mayday Parade and Jamie All Over and that kind of stuff, I remember like hearing those songs and being like, what is this? And that was for me like the 2000s, like pop punk stuff that really got me into those kind of bands and that band music in that sense. And then I like found Good Charlotte and Green Day and like expanded my very small love for music. But yeah.
And it's so interesting because I feel like things now, we're having this sort of pop punk revival. Like you see it on TikTok. Why do you think that is?
I think that there's just like a certain level of energy at those live shows. And I think that not that like other music can't accomplish that same thing, but there's just this like hunger for like that energy and for fitting in and for not and feeling like an outsider and feeling like weird. And then I think this kind of music kind of really emphasizes on creating a community for like people who don't feel welcome a lot of other places or feel like they don't really have a place. And so it's kind of like the community of like outsiders. And I think that for a lot of people who don't know where they belong, it's kind of the kind of music that is like, hey, we'll take you. You know what I mean? And so I think that's how always I felt. I know growing up, I listened to this kind of music because a lot of the music was not about like oh, like, I look good in this outfit. It was like, I
was
feel
emotional.
bad and I feel
Yeah.
sad and I have things going on, but that's okay. And I was like, okay, I can relate to
This
that,
is me.
you know?
Yeah. We're going to talk more about your shows in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Question 5, going back to you as an artist, when was the first time that you got your first real artist paycheck? You're like, okay, I'm an official
I'm like
artist
still
now.
waiting on it. I remember, I think it was my first ever cut that I got on a song, and I was like 18 years old, and it was with a country artist. And I know, very weird. I was living in Nashville, so it was kind of the only kind of music people wanted to write. So I was like, I'm gonna try and at least find songwriters. And so I wrote a country song, and I remember my first like songwriting paycheck and me being like, I'm making it. It was probably like $32 or something for like the year. And I was like, here I am, world.
But meanwhile, you've been working at the pizza place and the plant shops.
Exactly.
Like, you're ready.
I'm like, I was like, I'm rich.
Did you ever think you were going to go the country music route?
No, I mean, I honestly only really, I do love country music. I love country. I live in Nashville. I respect the songwriters so much. I moved to Nashville because of the songwriters and because, the writers there have written the Sheryl Crow albums I love, the Grace Potter, Bonnie Raitt, like Trisha Yearwood, all the women that I grew up on. And so I moved there specifically to try and like be in rooms with those people and try and write music for myself with those people. And then I fell in love with like the storytelling of country music, and I don't write it as much anymore, but it made me a better writer, just emphasizing the story so much in like syllables and words. Yeah. I don't know, now I have such a high standard for like song lyrics because of that. So it really helped me as a writer a lot.
Interesting. Okay, what about question 6, the first time you heard your own song on the radio?
I literally was it's so funny. I feel like all these questions, I was just having a conversation with my manager about.
Oh, we had the whole team here too.
I know, it's so fun. But honestly, this was like a couple weeks ago maybe, and everyone else had heard it already. So like everybody had also already heard Dress on the radio, and all my friends and everybody who like follows me on Instagram was like showing videos, and I was like, that's so cool.
You hadn't seen it yet?
And I had not heard it. And I think because so much of it is like I've been on tour for so long that we weren't really listening to like the radio, and I wasn't really in my car. I was like flying so much or taking Ubers and stuff. So I wasn't in my control. And then 2 weeks ago, I was driving home from, I think, a dinner or something. It was really late at night. I had a really long day. I was doing like a ton of like social stuff. And it was one of those days where you're just like, is anything working, you know? And it was so weird. I was on my phone. I parked and I was on my phone checking something. And thank God I would just like decided to check my email or something, because all of a sudden I started hearing like the bass of my song come in, and I was like exiting out of my apps. I was like, where is that coming from? And I forgot that I had just like put the radio on like a really low thing on a station that I knew it was playing on, just like fingers crossed that I would hear it one day.
Oh my
and I
God.
Was like, no way. And I look over and it literally says like my name on like my car thing. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, I want to take a video of it, but I also just like what if I take a video and the Bluetooth like takes a song off the radio? I got so nervous, but it was so fun, and it was so cool to just like be by myself and not being like, oh, I know it's playing at this time. I'm going to sit in my car for 45 minutes and wait for it. It was so unexpected, and I felt like I needed it to happen.
So
that day,
serendipitous.
So it was so cool.
Oh, that's so special. Okay, what about question 7, the first time you're recognized by a fan?
That's so hard. I feel like my hair makes it so easy for people to recognize. So it's like, even if you're not like a fan, they're just like, oh, like I know you. And I'm like, familiar. Yeah, we went to high school together.
When you came in today, I was like, Charlotte's going to have her hair, right? And I was like, you need the blue
God,
hair.
Imagine if I didn't. I've had it for probably like 6 years now. I am like fully committed at this point. Honestly, most of my friends and like family and everybody, they have not seen me without this hair color.
What is your natural hair color?
It's a great question. Don't look at my roots. No zooming into
no one
the
needs
roots.
To know. It's blue.
Yeah, look at my roots, straight to jail. But yeah, I don't remember the first time. I genuinely I don't know. I really don't. But the thing I will say, is one thing that just happened to me recently is we were in London playing a show. And it was so strange because I was playing a headlining show in London, and we were staying at a hotel, and I was walking out to the van to go to sound check or something, and these 3 people walked out of the same hotel, and they were from the US, which was weird and they were just like, "Are you Charlotte Sands?" And I was like, "Yes." And they're like, "Aren't you playing a show tomorrow night here?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they weren't even coming to the show, which is pretty rude if you're watching this. I don't know what you were doing that night. That was so important.
They just knew.
And it was super weird because I was like, we're in London, we're staying at the same hotel, and you guys are from the US. It's not even like you live here.
Yeah.
it was very strange, but I was like, that's like the weirdest moment I've ever had.
Goes global.
Yeah.
Okay, what about question 8? What was your very first collaboration?
I don't know. I think I have I did a song that was like a country song. It was like me featuring on a country song with my friends Ollie Joseph and Sammy Arriaga, and it's called Something We Can Dance To, and I think I did it like a few years ago. It was like he's a Latin country artist, which I thought was really cool. And so cool. I saw the only reason I remember that is because somebody just DM'd me like yesterday being like, I always forget that you did this song, and I'll be listening to like one of your songs, and then this will come up, and they're like, what just happened to my playlist? They're like, oh no, I'm on a country playlist, and I'm like, oh, that's me.
Do you ever play any of those songs at your shows, like any throwback country songs?
I mean, honestly, I haven't. I would love to be able to play like folkier stuff sometimes. And honestly, that's why I'm so excited about today, is because I never get to do like stripped down stuff. Yeah. But that's why I'm so excited for my headlining tour in the fall, is because I get to kind of play whatever I want, and it doesn't have to be like in a time crunch. It's like, and I get to create and curate an experience based off of what I want.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We're gonna
have to come to a show.
Obviously, I'm gonna be there. I'm going to Nashville with you. Okay.
Mystery. Yeah. I'll put it in my bag.
What about question 9? First time you met one of your heroes?
The main, and this isn't like one of the first things, but I think the most memorable thing would be like Yungblud, who I was just on a tour with.
Yeah.
Just because I think there's a lot of people that I'm inspired by as like writers and stuff, but I haven't met a ton of artists just because of COVID and everything. The last 2 years, it's only been 2 years since I've kind of been in the position where I can like reach out or try and have relationships with these people that I look up to so much. And he was one of the first for me, because I've like just genuinely like been a fan for so long that I would like post videos of like duetting his stuff on TikTok and just like all of that, just because I genuinely like loved him. I would create like songs and duets like then just like produce them myself just to post. It was like, I just feel so inspired by him. And so being able to open for him on tour and meet him and find out that he's just like an absolutely incredible person, and definitely feels good. And same with all the main guys and Adam Lazara, Taking Back Sunday, like all that stuff is
What I also love too about Yungblud is he's so himself.
Oh my God.
Fully so genuine.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest thing, like, you know, being on tour with him that you took away from his shows that maybe you're like, okay, I want to bring this to my own tour?
If you have not seen him on tour, first of all, you have to go to a show.
I've actually never seen him perform, but I can imagine it is wild.
I mean, I hadn't before I toured with him, but I'd only seen videos and stuff like that. But he is probably the best performer that I've ever, like, of our generation. I genuinely do believe that. I think he, like, seeing him backstage and what he's, like, anything that he's going through or tour life and all that, and then seeing who he is the second his, like, feet touches the stage. Feet touch?
I was writing that way, but I was like,
touches? Yeah. So I'm like, what is the
his foots are on the stage.
His foots are on it. Yeah. As soon as his foots are on it, he like basically he just like transcends. Like he becomes this different identity, this person, and he leaves it all out there. It's like he is like, I don't want 1 ounce of energy by the time I walk off the stage. I'm going to put it all for everyone else.
I need to know what eyeliner he uses too.
Oh my God.
I'm like, oh my God, it does not move.
I need to get some of that waterproof stuff going on. I know. He needs to do like a whole like tutorial.
We need that.
But yeah, he's incredible.
Okay, what about question 10? Who was your very first celebrity crush?
Aaron Carter.
Aaron's party.
Honestly, like now that we've brought that up, I would say like, oh my God, I was just about to say a name, but now I'm like friends with that person. I'm like, I can't say anything. It's like all of our bands like that we've grew up on, like now that I like know them. But like, I mean, every single one of the bands that I've worked with or am working with or toured with and all that stuff are all people that I genuinely listened to in middle school and high school, and I was like, I'm in love with him. And then now they're like my buddies, and we go to the bar, and I'm like, I was 14, so please forgive me. I'm so sorry that I posted a picture in your shirt going like this, like, so sorry. But I promise I'll throw away all the merch. But I genuinely think that like the Aaron Carter stuff, I mean, I remember being like 14 or like 13 and seeing like the Justin Bieber Never Say Never documentary, and that changed my life. I was like, I'm gonna marry him.
Oh my God, so you're a believer.
Just kidding. I genuinely like, I really love him, and I think he's like such an inspiring artist.
He's so talented.
Yeah.
Okay, what about question 11? When was the first time you walked your very first red carpet?
I've never walked a red carpet.
So we got something to look forward to.
Come on.
Okay,
I'm waiting for the phone to ring.
Okay, you're coming to our iHeart Awards, all right?
Let's
I'm making
go.
that happen. What about question 12? Speaking of shows, what was on the very first rider you made?
I feel so awkward about making riders because I genuinely feel bad asking for anything. Like, I'm literally like, do you mind if I have 1 bottle of water? Like, I feel so, I'm always like, do you need anything? I just feel so guilty about it for some reason. But I remember our first rider was like it's literally like the bare essentials. It was like a granola bar or something and like one thing of gum. Yeah, I'm like, I'll just take a napkin. Thanks. I'm so grateful. Yeah, ours, I mean, even ours right now it's basically what it's been the whole time I've been touring now. And it's like water and like chips and guac and like
that's
just
good.
simple things and like seltzers, some Bud Light. No.
Are you a Bud Light girl?
I'm just a Bud Light girl. Everyone makes fun of me for it. I just like something that you know how it's going to taste all the time. Like consistency.
Really? But that's why I don't like Bud Light. I'm
That
like, I
makes a lot
know
of
what's
sense.
going to happen.
I am slowly growing out of it. The second the seltzers became such like a big thing and it's like a phenomenon now, I'm like, okay, I can get behind it. The carbonation.
Yeah.
I like it.
Something like that. Okay.
I'll give up my Bud Light dreams.
What about question 13? When was your first I made it moment?
Honestly, with all this stuff happening at Dress, it like popped off on TikTok and all that kind of stuff, which I'm so grateful for. But I think in those moments, I still had no idea what was going on. It was very hard to like actually gauge, is this success? Is this virality? Is this going to go away tomorrow? Is this a prank that everyone's playing on me? Who really knows? And I think for me, one of those big moments was definitely playing this headlining show in London that just happened. It was like my second headlining show of my entire life.
Wow.
My first one was in February 2020.
Oh my
like
God.
2 weeks
This is
before
fresh.
the world shut down. And so this one, being overseas and being so far away from home and being able to play songs and have an entire venue of people knowing the words, and I've never met them before, never seen them, they've never been to a show, you know, like that kind of experience, I will like genuinely never forget it, because I feel like I've always made excuses and been like, why are you guys here? I know you're wearing my merch, but you're probably here for the headliner. And like, I always can talk myself out of that. But this time I was like, okay, there's no way I can like dumb this down to myself. It is cool and it is exciting. And yeah. And so I was like, I really just like let myself, I hung out with every single one of them afterwards, and we were all just like on the street, like hugging and almost getting hit by cars. Legally not a great idea, but
the love was there.
Yeah, it was there, and I'll never forget it.
Speaking of tour, question 14, what was the very first tour you opened for?
I would say the first tour that I ever opened up for was Sad Summer Fest, and it was All Time Low and The Main, and that's how I met all the Main guys, which is so fun.
And they're the best.
They are just the sweetest people. I feel like I talk so much about them because I just can't stop talking. I'm just like, no, you have to meet them. Like, they're just wonderful.
They really are.
But yeah, I went on that tour, and the crazy thing about that tour is that it was last June. I was supposed to play Bonnaroo, and like 3 days before I was supposed to play, I think it was on a Wednesday, we found out that Bonnaroo was going to get canceled because of a storm.
Oh, that's right.
Awful.
That's right.
And so that was kind of like through COVID was my one kind of strand of hope that I was like holding on to. I was like, at least we have Bonnaroo, at least we have Bonnaroo. I remember it getting canceled, and literally the next day we got a phone call from someone who called my manager and was like, hey, how would Charlotte want to like play the last like 5 days of the Sad Summer tour? Somebody just fell off of the tour, but we need to know within like 30 minutes, and you guys have to be here by tomorrow. And it was in Boston. And so
you're going back home. You're like,
and I was like, rally at the troop, let's go. And so we literally got in a van at 7 a.m. the next day. Like, I think we had like 3 people just like got in a van, and we just like went, and we showed up at like the time to load in. We didn't sleep. We just loaded in and then played the next 5 days. Some of the days it was just me and one other person, like my drummer.
And how was that experience? Like,
it was incredible. I was so tired that I was like slap happy the whole time. So I was just like enjoying every second of it. I was genuinely, I mean, they're literally my idols. So being able to play my first show since COVID, 5 minutes away from like my dad's house in like the town.
Was your
10
family
minutes
there?
from my
Did they get to come?
Yeah, my whole family came.
Oh God.
It was so funny. I had tickets to one of the shows that I actually ended up playing, and I had to like return my tickets to the show and be like, oh darn. I'm like, I get that money back. That's cool. But like I literally had to return my tickets so that I could go play the show, and it was just such a weird thing. Like I was genuinely planning on going to this thing I ended up getting to play, and so it's really cool.
Well, that brings us to question 15, because your very first headlining tour, we've been talking about this whole interview.
I'm so
exciting. What can your fans expect? How are you preparing for this tour?
Oof, I'm running a lot. I'm trying to get that cardio in.
Get the stamina up.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I'm just so excited about this tour because it's literally the first time in my entire career where I get to like create an experience based off of what I think the audience will want and what they'll enjoy, and how to create an energy for everybody else. And it's not just me trying to be like, okay, what is the headliner like? What can I do to support that energy? And like try and
crafting around.
Yeah,
right.
and I think my job for the last year opening for people has been just like the hype man of like, you just have got to bring the hype. And so I've had to cut so many songs that I love because they're like kind of like low key, or they're on the guitar, or they're just like they're slower. And so I've cut a lot of my favorite stuff. And now I get to like go back and like bring in the songs that like I've waited a really long time to get to play live, and to get to like have those moments and share those really like intimate moments with people. And get to experience them with like so many people that I love that I haven't gotten to see in person. And so I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for you.
Thanks.
And do you have any pre-show rituals besides the Bud Light?
Honestly, our pre-show ritual, we have done so much random stuff, but the funniest thing that we started doing on the last tour is we started doing like a sea shanty every single time before we went on stage. And it almost kind of just because it made everyone think we were so weird. Like the other bands would be like, what is happening in their green room? And we're like, Sume, the Willamico. And like everyone is like, why are they doing that? And then
Joe's nodding his head. He's like, yes.
He's like, that song rips. I don't know why. We just like started doing that for every show. And it was like our like hype up song. And we're going to have to create some like new traditions for this one.
Yeah. I love it. Charlotte, we're so excited for you. Congratulations on everything and the tour. Thank you so much for being here. Let's give it up one more time for Charlotte.
Thank you. I do like the audience.
Right?
Nice.
Isn't it fun?
Nice.
And of course, thank you all for watching. Make sure you stream all of Charlotte Sands' music on iHeartRadio, including Dress, that's out now, and go get tickets to the tour
right now.
Charlotte, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next time.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Did you like that video? You can check out more over here. And don't forget to subscribe to iHeart right here. And if you're already a longtime fan, make sure you ring the bell down below so you don't miss a single video. Bye guys.